I'd like to talk to you about a student I used to teach. I'm going to call him Jay. Now, when I first met Jay, he was just finished year 11. He was entering year 12 college, and he'd got 5 GCSEs, and they were all passes. None of them were particularly remarkable. They were okay. And he was, in a word, he was coasting. To be honest with you, he'd never really understood why he had to do it. What was the point? What was in it for him? I've called him Jay, obviously, to protect his anonymity, but also because it slightly doesn't really matter what his name is, because you know Jay, and you, and you, and you, and everybody else watching this, you all know Jay. Jay is one of thousands of students who every single year are going through the education system without understanding what's in it for them. They are drifters. They'll do it, but largely education is something that happens to them. Now, when I met Jay, I wasn't aware of any of this. All I knew was that my school, Queen Ethelburgas, had just started an esports program, and I was in charge of it. I was really, really nervous, wanted to get everything right. I didn't really know what I was doing with a lot of it. So what I did was spoke to a few students, and one of them was Jay. And Jay came up to me and he said, "Well, I'd really like to play on a school Valorant team." Fair enough. I vaguely heard of the game Valorant. I didn't know much about it, but I said, "Whatever you need to support you, I'll help you out." Fantastic. And he went away and he built this team, and they started playing. And then they started playing well. And what Jay did every single week, whenever there was a match, he'd fill in a really detailed match report explaining everything that went right, everything that went wrong, everything that needed to happen in training between that fixture and the next one. And their performances started to improve. It's left a bit of a legacy, actually. They're still, that particular team, still finishing the top 2 or 3 every single season in the British Esports Student Champs League that they play in. They do really, really well. But more interesting than that, their academic results improved as well. And their attendance and their punctuality, all of the things that we traditionally associate with doing really well in education, they all started to build all of these skills. What was happening was that they had found something that they really, really cared about. When they left, a lot of them left at the end of last year to go on to university. Every single one of them that were in the team that left achieved their first choice uni, including places like Cambridge. And one of the last conversations I ever had with Jay, he said to me, "Thank you for giving me something to care about." Now, in reality, what had happened was he'd just found something that mattered to him, enough that he was prepared to grow and develop to get really good at it. Now, it doesn't end there. I've got other students as well. One student in particular, she'd never particularly struggled with academics, but what she did struggle with was fitting in. And she told me that esports was the first place that she ever felt chosen rather than tolerated. Isn't that nice? Chosen rather than tolerated. My youngest cat, she's just 12 years old, and she thinks absolutely nothing of standing in front of an assembly of 600-700 people and talking about her passion and talking about her things that she enjoys, education, representing the school in esports, all stuff that she really, really, really likes. And all of these are things that she's developed by being a part of a program that wouldn't have existed elsewhere. Now, what's happening is skills are being developed. Skills which employers that all of these students are going to be looking to become employed by in 7-10 years are all looking to have developed. Things like technological literacy, we know about that, but also leadership, problem solving. To call back to some of the fantastic speakers we already had today, things as simple as confidence or the ability to walk around with a growth mindset, being willing to get it wrong and then try again next time. All of these things are being built when they're taking part in an esports game. Now, you might be sat there thinking, well, hang on a minute, what's he trying to convince us of here? This all sounds pretty good. Well, the reality is there's very active and vocal opposition to a lot of the things that I'm describing right now. People say screen time, we don't need to be spending more time on screens. Our students already spend way too much time on their screens, right? I mean, we've just managed to ban phone from schools, and now you want them to sit down and do a load of gaming. We're all worried that AI is going to come and steal all of our jobs, and now we're sat there trying to bring in more time to spend in front of computers. No. We don't want any of that. It sounds like a very unique and modern problem, doesn't it? It sounds like the kind of thing that, I mean, we weren't worrying about this 50 years ago. We weren't worrying about 100 years ago. Actually, we were. Every single time for centuries, there's been a philosophical or pedagogical shift in education that's tried to incorporate new things to meet students where they want to be met, be it a play or books or traditional sports, technology, creative arts. It's always met with confusion and disdain, and often some sort of comment of, well, they're never going to get a job doing that, so we're not going to allow them to do it in education. There's a feeling that their enjoyment of something will undermine the seriousness of learning, but enjoyment is not the opposite of learning. Apathy is the opposite of learning. Let me show you a couple of numbers. Now, they look a little bit stark. Look at that one there. 40% of secondary school students say that school does not teach them what they need to know. That's almost half of the young people that you know don't see the point of going into school because it doesn't teach them anything relevant, anything useful. Almost half. That's a lot, right? Let me show you another number. This one's really interesting. Despite the fact that almost half of the young people that you know don't see the value in going to school, don't see anything that they're going to get out of it, they still want to do really well. They still turn up feeling like there might be something in it for them. And what they're doing is crying out for education to meet them in a space that they want to be found. The good news is there's a world of organizations that are already trying to embody the values that we're talking about here. And there's organizations like Diagon that run worldwide bespoke programs, starting from primary school age, to try and develop these skills in people. Wygam, who are a charity that deal with young people's gaming and gambling harms, and another thing that they do is make sure that all staff members working with young people are equipped to deal with the litany of issues facing young people today. Every single thing I've talked to you about so far has been focused on the end user side of esports. But it's more than that. Check this out. This is the logo of the school's esports team, Q Esports. If you'd given me 100 years, I couldn't have come up with that. But I had 2 students who went away and did it in a week. They went away, they did it, and they came to me and they said, "Do you like this?" "Yeah, I like it. It's absolutely fantastic." That logo's now on kits that the team wears when they represent the school around the world in esports competitions. They're proud to wear it. And the students that designed it are proud that they've designed it, proud that a piece of the school belongs to them. I've got some year 12 students at the moment who run my social media page. They're creating Instagram posts and TikTok videos, and they're doing it so well. And in several years' time, they're going to be able to walk into any company they like and say, "I've already got a year's experience running successful social media account for an esports team." All of these skills being built because we've been willing to embrace the places where students want to be found. For years now, we've made the assumption that the argument is whether or not esports belongs in education, but we've been wrong because that's not been the question at all. The real question has been whether or not education is prepared to place value in developing the skills in a manner that matters to students. Thank you.